Welcome to this pause for practice, taking a moment in the flow of our day in this case, but you may look at this recording or evening to center ourselves, to align ourselves, to resource ourselves, to be more fully present with what is now in a way that is reflective of our intentions and our fullest capacity. Um, and so that we can respond from that place rather than react out of old conditioning, assumptions, ideas, previous patterned reactions, or out of wounded places that may not allow us to really be present in the fullest way and in the most aligned way to what's happening here and now. And so taking a moment to decide whether you would like to stand. I'm going to start standing, but I'm going to have this chair here. I may pull it in and take a seat. We'll do some movement, we'll do some breath, and we'll do some visualization and then some just inner kind of awareness exercise. So you may want to sit or be standing depending on what you've been doing so far in this day. Maybe you've been really active running around and you want to take a seat. Maybe you've been seated for a long time and you'd like to stand. So whatever you decide to do, take a moment and just begin to breathe and move and just invite. I'm going to do some sort of, this is what's feeling called to me. I think I'm taking inspiration off of the wind here. Just breathing and sort of feeling myself open at my shoulders, my shoulder blades. You might bring your shoulders up to your ears and then reach them down to the floor. You can let your hips and your knees and just sort of all of the joints of your being. Think about sort of both the strength and the stability and the pliability of our tree kin, the way that they stand tall and weather whatever is moving and stirring, even the most volatile of winds and storms, by also being pliable and flexible and elastic in their being. And so just taking a few breaths and just maybe feeling into a tree that you really know and love. Imagine if you have taken it in and observed it moving in the wind, maybe draw that to mind. If you haven't ever done that actively, you can use your imagination and just imagine that tree that you love and have a close relationship with moving flexibly in the winds that stir it as they move. And then with the next few breaths, just inviting yourself to bring the last little stretches. Maybe there's a part of your body you haven't quite opened up. And then bringing yourself now into sort of an open stance. In yogic tradition, this is mountain pose. Palms facing forward. You can take your chin down and feel that little elongation in the back of the neck. And just feel a little bit of a sense of that swaying back and forth, the gentle rooting in. Feel that sense of the next few breaths. Breathing into your hips, into your legs, into your feet. And as you exhale, just letting your body settle a little bit more. Taking two more breaths like this, breathing in deep into your hips, your pelvic floor, your low belly, your legs, your feet. And as you exhale, just letting your soft tissues, your muscles, your tendons, your skin, your brow, your jaw to just relax a little bit more. And last one like this. And as you breathe into the hips and the legs, invoke a recognition and a connectedness into your roots, feeling into that metaphor that is really almost ubiquitous. Find it in so many places and cultures, the family tree, the tree of life. And feel as you breathe that you are tapping in through your roots into your connectivity with the root system of your own blood lineage, to the extent that you are or are not familiar with the people and the places that constitute your blood lineage. Just inviting that deep cellular, that deep genetic bone level recognition and knowledge. We have in our beings both the consciously acquired, consciously engaged, learned information, stories passed down, things we've read, things we've heard, things we have so-called evidence, for who we belong to, where we come from. And then we also have the deep bone cellular level. And just with a few breaths, inviting your system to drop in to that deep bone level with a recognition that there is a full spectrum, right? A range, like generations and generations, lifetimes and lifetimes, difficulties encountered, challenges overcome, celebrations, moments of joy, moments of achievement, moments of learning and growth, moments of loss. It's all in this full spectrum of life. Just opening to that deep embodied, both belonging that may tap into something that's deeper, more profound than the stories we tell, the sort of ripples of our experience, of our circumstantial experience. What's underneath that sense of belonging that is undeniable ultimately. It's in the bones, it's in the cells. And just making a little space for whatever comes up as you tap into this. It could be a range of emotion, of energetic felt sense. Maybe some experiences or feelings that we might experience as pleasant and really deeply resourcing in what we would interpret as a positive way. Others may feel challenging and bring up feelings that we might interpret in a negative way. And just allowing, just this is a moment to tap in, to allow if it's something that needs to move, be felt, to clear. This is beneficial, even though maybe the immediateness is not, that there's something else yet to come through allowing to move anything that is here that we haven't had time and space to feel and allow. And then just with the next few breaths, and you can continue this forward beyond this time, create more space for this in the next days. You're entering this portal of Samhain, time when in many traditions that are indigenous to various places and parts of the world, there is a honoring, a veneration of ancestor lineage. The veils are said to be thin for communication. So just in this few moments, making space, making presence for that awareness and invitation. And taking a few more breaths now and noticing what you notice in your body, any place that might have gripped or tightened, and just take a breath and you can take a little motion. And as you exhale, feel that sense of grounding even deeper, further in to your root system. As you inhale, sending that inquiry of self, that inquiry into that sense of belonging that is deep and profound that we rise from, and beyond the personal, beyond the blood and bone family lineage, and into the greater lineage of life. Feel into that sense of your rootedness to the place or places that have helped to raise you up, from which the lands and rivers and play of light, shadow, and the winds that carry the seeds and pollinate, that has nourished and nurtured your being in your growth, physical growth, literal growth, but also in your spiritual growth or your sense of understanding on that visceral level of life, connectivity. And just take a few breaths and invite that recognition and acknowledgement, gratitude for the belongingness and the nourishment on so many levels, that being rooted and tapped into life in all of the various lineage forms that you are connected to. Take a few breaths and just opening that channel too, even further, to be alive and awake and listening with your whole being as you move through your days and nights to the conversation that is ongoing with life unfolding around you, the seasons, the other storylines, beings living and moving and making their lives and building their homes and carrying out their role in the ecosystem. And just take a few breaths and just offering a sense of recognition and gratitude in this moment for all that you live and thrive among, and a sense of connection and codependency, mutuality. With the next few breaths, just invite that as you open up and move out of this little practice today, that there is an added sense of recognition, an added sense of feeling of belonging, an added sense of connectivity, of reverence and respect and responsibility with and to all the beings that we're moving in our spaces with. With the next inhale, let your arms Gently come up over your body, bringing them above the head in Anjali Mudra, and then down, taking a pause at your third eye. May this practice support us to walk in recognition, to sit in reverence for all the lineages that we arrive through. And take the next breath and just let the hands come around your nose and pausing at your lips. May this practice support us to be open in our inner conversations and our spoken word over the next week, to speak out loud, to speak in gratitude, to speak in conversation with those who have gone before and with those who we reside among, whom we don't normally, or maybe as often as we could, address and open ourselves up to being in conversation with in ways that are beyond the day-to-day. And down the throat, and take your hands down to your heart center, just placing your thumbs right at your center of your chest, and feel the beating of your own heart. And may this practice, this little practice, nourish your heart, deepen and open and expand your sense of belonging and connection, capacity to draw strength, strengthen your heart through this recognition and reverence for where you come from and all you live among. Just a little bow. Thank you so much for joining me. Would love to hear from you, how this resonates with you, maybe what comes of it for you as you move through your rest of day and night and week, and hope to see you soon.